I'm Andrew, and welcome back to Custom Cards, where we teach you to make your own Magic the Gathering cards. Today we're discussing green commons, based on an analysis of the last 21 official standard large Magic sets. Green is the color of nature, of creatures. As such, it has a high number of creatures and access to the largest number of keyword mechanics. Like all colors, green gets creatures with no abilities. These creatures provide a baseline for the sorts of stat to cost configurations that the color can get. For keywords, green gets creatures with trample, which often grant trample to other creatures as well, reach, death touch, vigilance, hexproof, defender, and haste, theoretically. Its creatures can gain some form of indestructibility, or produce mana directly, or by untapping a land. It can make multiple creatures with a single spell, and its creatures can mess with combat in various ways, by being unable to be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, or more than one creature, or token creatures, or forcing a creature to block, or being able to block additional creatures, or attacking as a flyer, I guess. Please don't put flying on your green commons. Green doesn't have much card advantage. Like all colors, it gets cantrips and scry. It also gets commune spells, which can search the top few cards of its library, usually for lands or creatures, but sometimes artifacts or enchantments. The remaining cards can be put on the bottom of your library or into your graveyard, depending on what the set wants. Green also gets mana fixing by searching its library for a land and putting it into play or into hand, or enchanting its land to produce more or different mana, or putting lands into play from hand. Also, it can occasionally return permanent cards from graveyard to hand. Removal is light but consistent. A plummet spell destroys or damages a creature with flying. A fight spell lets your creature fight an opposing creature or simply hit it without retaliation. And a naturalize can destroy an artifact, or an artifact or enchantment, or an artifact or enchantment or card from graveyard, or a flyer or enchantment, or an artifact or enchantment or flyer, or an artifact or enchantment or land. Just focus on artifacts and enchantments, and you'll do fine. Green has a lot of buffs, though it relies less on positive auras than other colors, probably because it uses more +1/+1 counters instead. It usually has 1 to 2 combat tricks that pump both power and toughness, and often grant reach or trample or untap the creature. If a set is short on combat tricks, it usually has a sorcery speed pump spell to compensate. Its creatures can also give themselves temporary buffs, often by paying mana, which combos well with Green's ability to ramp. Green has a few other miscellaneous effects. It can gain life, often as an additional effect on other cards, put cards from the top of its library into its graveyard, or prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to creatures or players or both. Like all colors, it gets cost reduction effects and cards that you want as many of as possible, though it doesn't use either very often. And like all colors, it can share abilities of other colors if the spell is gold or has an activated ability. Remember that these are only the most basic and common of the things that green can do. If you want to see what else it's capable of, research it for yourself on a card searching website such as Scryfall or Gatherer. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments about your favorite green common. We'll be back next Thursday to design some commons of our own.